Why is accounting so darn hard? I'm Sean. This is What is Accounting and How Do I Do It? And today we're talking about why accounting is so hard. Before I jump in, I just want to let you know that I have a newsletter which you can sign up to at ledgerready.work. I just send out weekly emails with little accounting tips that I think you might find useful. Some pieces of content are easier to explain in writing than over a video. And when you sign up, you get a link to download a free spreadsheet that I hope will help you with your annual budgeting process. You know, if you don't already have a process in place, that spreadsheet will get you started. Or if you do already have a process in place, you know, you might find that spreadsheet helpful to you to improve that process for you. All right, so now let's jump in. Why does accounting seem so hard all the time? I'm going to explain this with a little story about when I first started accounting when I left school. So I went to college for accounting. I got I majored in accounting, got a bachelor's degree, and while I was studying, I was still studying for the CPA exam at the time. But I started work at a regional public accounting firm, serving lots and lots of different industries: restaurant, banking, some investment companies. You know, you name it. I've probably seen it. But initially, when I first came out, I was, you know, as you might expect, I was strong in the concepts. You know, I'd learned all this stuff in school. I knew the core accounting concepts, but I'd never done it before. And so I go to my first client, and one of the things you do when you're first starting out on an audit at a client is you meet with them and you talk about what they do, you know, what their process is, so that you can figure out how best to test that process to make sure they're, you know, recording their transactions accurately and completely. So I remember sitting down with the controller at this company, and I asked her to explain, you know, something simple to me like a bank reconciliation process or something like that. And she's explaining it to me, and I'm sitting there thinking, what the heck is going on here? Like, I had no clue what she was talking about. And, you know, now in hindsight, I realized that the reason was because I had one half of the puzzle. You know, it was like you have a puzzle with half the pieces missing. You can get all the corners in or one corner in, but you can't find the rest. And so for me, that was, I had the concepts. I was highly technical. I understood how an accounting system should work, but I had never put it in practice and seen what businesses do to actually implement these things. And so that was what I was struggling with. You know, I had, again, the concepts, but I'd never seen the finished product, you know, with those concepts in place. So that was the key that I was missing. Now, I want to explain this again using a different example. I'm a father. I have one daughter right now. I have a son on the way, but my daughter is 5. And if you're a parent, you know what the struggle is like in the morning trying to get your kid dressed. And so for her, you know, getting dressed, she's getting the hang of it now. But when you're first learning how to get dressed, like it seems simple to us. You know, we're adults and we do it. We've been doing it every day. You know, hopefully our whole lives. But you know, it's tough when you're learning stuff like that. You know, you got to balance on one foot while you're putting your pants or your shorts on. You know, you got to pick out all the clothes, and you got to remember, like, oh, I need socks and shorts or pants and underwear and a shirt or a dress. And, you know, for my daughter, she always had a clear image in her head of her outfit for the day. You know, she commonly gets out of bed and she's like, oh, I'm wearing this, you know, and it's like, no, Dad, like, this is what I want to wear today. But, you know, at first when she was learning how to dress herself, she knew what she wanted to wear, but she didn't know how to get dressed, you know, so she didn't have all the steps, the concepts, if you will, you know. So I had to teach her step by step. Okay, first, we're a bottoms up family, not top down. So we start with the underwear and the shorts first, not the shirt. I don't know. Other people may do it the other way. Anyway, so we put I had to teach her, okay, you start with the underwear, you put your underwear on, and, you lean against the tub or the counter or something like that so you don't lose your balance. And then you put the shorts on, and then you put the shirt on or the dress. And when you're doing that, you want to make sure the tag is, closest to you, so you're putting your dress on straight, and then you get, obviously, you get to the socks, and God forbid the socks are skewed on your feet, so you're trying to, I'm trying to teach her, like, this is how you should hold the sock to get it on so you're comfortable, and then you get to the end and she sees the finished product and she's like, no, I want something else. I hate it. Which is very common. But, hopefully we get to the end and she's like, okay, this is the outfit I want to wear today. Eventually you get there and you move on. But how does that relate to accounting? Well, it's the same thing. You're either on one end, you either go to school and learn the concepts first and all the steps that you have to go through, or you're on the other side, which is very typical for small business owners and a lot of bookkeepers that I've met, where you know what to do. So you know practically what you're supposed to do, what the transactions should look like once they're recorded, once everything is in there, what it should look like and what, the right result is. But you're missing the concepts and the why should you do it one way versus another. And so with my daughter, it's, why do you put the underwear on first and not the shorts? It's like, well, how are you going to get the underwear on if you put the shorts on first? So with accounting, very similar. It's not, not really similar to getting dressed, but conceptually, you need both pieces to fully put a process in place that makes the most sense for your business. And I have met a lot of bookkeepers over the years that are very, very good at their job. But what I've found is that with many of them, they can rip through their accounting, accounts payable and accounts receivable. They know exactly how to input that in their accounting system and how to get it recorded accurately. But if you ask them a conceptual accounting question, they feel lost. They don't understand it because they don't speak that language. They're doing it their one particular way. And that's not a problem unless you have a unique situation where, like you've structured a customer contract a certain way and, you might not be sure how to record that because it doesn't look like the other transactions that you're used to recording. And so that's what I'm trying to accomplish for you with these videos and with my newsletter, is to begin with the core accounting concepts, and then eventually we're going to walk through how to implement those concepts in real world situations. So that was a lot, but I'm going to stop there for today. And I hope you join me for my next video. I'm Sean. This is What is Accounting and How Do I Do It? And like I said at the beginning of the video, if you want to sign up to my newsletter, you can find the form for that sign up at ledgerready.work. And that's it. I'll see you next time.